Good evening, everyone. This is Chairperson Borja. Today is June 16th, 2021, and I'm calling the meeting to order at 6:34 p.m. Um, Madam Clerk of the Board, would you like to make the public comment procedures? Um,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Absolutely. In compliance with the directives of the county, state, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, this meeting is live streamed and closed to in-person public participation. Temporary procedures are subject to change pursuant to guidelines related to social distancing and minimizing person-to-person contact. To make a verbal comment at today's meeting, dial 916-875-2500 and follow the prompts to be placed in queue for a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter. When the chair opens public comment for a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter, callers will be transferred from the queue into the meeting to make a verbal comment. Written comments are always accepted. Feel free to send your email comments to boardclerk@saccounty.net, and your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're
Our
welcome.
next step is to have the roll call. Can you help us with that as well?
Absolutely. Member Brantley,
Here.
Member Miller, Member Sylvester, Member Thompson,
Here.
Member Trotter-Getzy,
Here.
and Member Borja.
Present. Thank you.
Yeah, and you do have a quorum.
Thank you so much, everyone. Hopefully everyone is staying cool and hydrated during this heat pledge. If I could have Madam Clerk to lead us with the pledge, please, that'd be amazing.
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And with that, move to planning for Grandview Road ADU and the lead planner for the county ready to make the presentation.
Hi, everyone. This is Desiree Fox. I'll be presenting for the item on today's agenda. Do we need to read the item into the record, or should I start my presentation?
I can read the item into the record. Item number 1 is Grandview Road ADU, located at 10400 Gerber Road in the Vineyard community, and the request is for a special development permit.
Okay, thank you. As mentioned, my name is Desiree Fox, and I'll be presenting on this item. Next slide, please. The project site is located at 10400 Gerber Road on the southeast corner of Grandview Road and Gerber Road in the Vineyard community. Project request for a special development permit to allow a 1,200 square foot ADU on a 2.09 acre parcel in the AR2 zone. The final hearing body for this item is the zoning administrator. Next slide. Here is a site plan that was provided previously by the applicant. In your email, you should have received a slightly revised site plan that includes marginal revisions. The proposed ADU, as mentioned, is 1,200 square feet and will be one story. ADU will accommodate 4 bedrooms and will also have about a 280 square foot porch. The ADU will be accessed off of Grandview Road. The current site plan that you see on the screen has some different setbacks to the one that was provided by email. So the project site plan has been revised so that it shows about a 42-foot, 6-foot distance from the future 30-foot right-of-way as measured from the center line. And then it also shows that the ADU will be set back 12 feet and 6 inches from the current right-of-way. So all in all, the ADU will comply with zoning code standards for setbacks from the side street. and the revisions were just essentially technical for the ADU to meet the requirements of future right-of-ways. The site plan was also updated to include the placement of the existing septic system. The proposed ADU will be served by private well and septic. The existing site is developed with a one-story single-family dwelling that's currently served by septic and well. So there will be an additional, I believe, septic system for the ADU, and then the ADU will be serviced by the existing well. The ADU will be accessed off of Grandview Road. There is a driveway that's going to occur kind of at the end of Grandview Road, and there's also another way to access the site off of another driveway entry on Grandview. Next slide. Here's the floor plan for the ADU. It is a 4-bed, 2-bathroom with a kitchen. It meets the standards for a single-family accessory dwelling unit on an AR2 lot, considering the square footage of the ADU and the amount of common space provided in there. Next slide. And here is the elevation so that you have context on what the ADU will look like upon the building being constructed. And that concludes my introduction of the item. The applicant, Ken Eaton, and I believe the owner should also be on the line if you have questions for the applicant team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fox. Would the applicants and the applicant team and the owner of the property, would they like to share a few words?
Hi, I'm Ken Eaton, and we just like to say that we're excited about approvals and finalizing the acceptance of our project.
Hi there. My name is Lilia Fernandez, and I'm the owner of 10400 Gerber Road. I just wanted to say thank you very much for everybody who is present at this meeting. I wanted to just extend my gratitude for your time today. So thank you very much for allowing us the opportunity to bring this matter to you.
Thank you very much. Are there any public comments, Madam Clerk?
No, sir, there are no public comments.
Understood. Did we receive any other written comments
No,
regarding
we
this
haven't.
item?
Not regarding this item, sir.
Understood. Understood. Now I am moving it to discussion. Questions from any members of the CPAC or any feedback?
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This is Bill Thompson. What kind of a pad is this mobile home going to set on?
It's set on an XI2 foundation system.
So it's a permanent foundation.
Okay, that's basalite blocks, right?
Excuse me?
That is basalite blocks, right?
Yes, parts of it.
Okay, but that didn't answer my question. What's the material it's going to set on? What kind of a pad did you put in to put this mobile home on it?
Right now it's on gravel pad, and it'll be on a permanent foundation.
Okay, you're setting it on a gravel pad, right?
Correct.
You also know that this ground out here floats, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. And the Department of Water Resources has applied a condition where we have to meet a minimum floor elevation, and they've already been out to mark a hub to make sure that it's built above that minimum floor elevation.
Okay. How high off the ground is this going to be blocked?
It has to meet 93.7 is the minimum floor elevation.
Okay. The reason why I was asking you about what kind of a pad it was put on, because I used to set these for a living. And setting it on a gravel pad is not a smart thing to do. with this ground the way it is, because once a year, this mobile home is going to have to be re-leveled. I don't know whether or not you're aware of that or not.
Now, the gravel pad is going to serve as the base for the concrete foundation that it's going to be put onto with those slots for the XI2 foundation that Mr. Eaton just mentioned. Do you think it'll still need to be leveled after that?
Well, you're setting it on an AB pad, right?
Yes.
Where it's gravel and sand mix, gravel, sand, dirt mix, rolled and compacted, right?
Correct.
That pad, I'm telling you, this mobile home will have to be leveled at least once a year. Setting it on that pad, on this ground. Because I assume that it's got a washer and dryer in it, right?
Yes.
That washer and dryer is going to cause a vibration where your shims are going to move. And the ground is going to vibrate underneath that washer and dryer. The reason why I say that is I live in one.
Okay. What would you recommend for the foundation or for the pad?
Well, if it was me and I was setting it, I would put it on a cement slab.
Yes. Well, there is going to be a cement slab. That's the cement foundation that's going to go on top of the gravel pad. So it's the gravel pad.
Just a second, ma'am. You're going to pour a solid slab to set this mobile home on.
For the piers holding up the home.
Yeah. Well, it will not hold it level. You will re-level it every once a year. If you don't, you and your husband will probably have lots of arguments over the stove and stuff. Because it will settle.
Okay.
And your grease in your frying pan will run from one side to the other.
Okay. Understood.
That's the reason why I say I live in a mobile home, and I got it set on a solid concrete slab. And it still does it in this.
Okay.
That's the reason why I'm telling you, once a year, your husband or somebody will come in and re-level that mobile home.
Well, there is an option for Leela, if she elects to put a 6-inch concrete slab down with rebar, 18 inches on center each way. You know, that of course is more secure, more stable than the gravel pad, but the gravel pad is an approved system.
Yeah, I
with
realize
the
that.
FI2 foundation system.
Mm-hmm. But it will not stay level on it. I don't care what the county tells you or anybody else tells you. I'm speaking from experience.
Mm-hmm.
I set these. I used to work for a company that I've hauled them, pulled them, towed them, and set them. Probably not this wide of a unit, but I have done both, all of it.
Yeah.
I've even put them in mobile home parks, which years ago was quite a chore. And to this day is still quite a chore.
I can imagine.
But I'm telling you right now that you will re-level it once a year. It ain't like a house where you put a foundation down and it stays. Even a house don't stay. You can put a house up perfectly square and perfectly level, and you come back in 2 years and it won't be nothing but a little bit out someplace. And the mobile home is twice as bad as a house. So that's for your own information.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your feedback, Member Thompson.
If it was me, I'd set it on a solid concrete slab, maybe 4 or 5 inches thick.
Thank you for
That's an option that Leela can consider, and thank you so much for your input.
Okay.
Thank you, Member Thompson. Um, I did want to ask with the just for the record that the applicant does need to abide by all of the erosion, sediment, and all of the foundational work that's required by the county as stated on the application, right? And Ms. Fox, the planner for the county, in your review, you have identified that the applicant, even though they can still have choices on the types of foundation, that they have at the very minimum met these requirements?
Yes, that's correct. Already gone to the review committee, and they've had an opportunity, Department of Water Resources, that would have some sort of regulation on that, have reviewed and provided the appropriate conditions.
Thank you. So, Ms. Fernandez, I'm certainly not as an expert in this, so I would, just encourage you and your developer to just, it's up to your decision on this. But we certainly, I don't think we're here to vote on the foundation. Certainly don't want to stop other members from having any other comments or questions to the applicant. Are there any other members of the CPAC board that would like to say or ask?
This is Member Brantley. Just for future reference, I was wondering why this required a special development permit.
Yeah, go ahead.
The square footage.
Oh, the square footage exceeds or is not is lower.
It exceeded the limit of an ADU.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, Member Brantley. So in the state, there is a California Department of Housing and Community Development ADU handbook that was recently updated in December 2020, where all of our counties actually have to abide by recent changes to accessory dwelling unit laws. So that's kind of the short answer for that. But there is quite a number of different requirements that the applicants and the county must also consider and abide by.
Do we know why the limit, why 1,200 is too big? Like, do we know why it's recommended that this not be done?
Well, some counties allow 1,600 square feet. The city of Sacramento allows 1,200 square feet. So it varies from county to county. And Sacramento County's limit right now is 1,000 square feet.
Got it. Okay. And that just varies for
We don't know
why.
Oh, okay. And if I could chime in, this is Desiree Fox with the county. The goal for an accessory dwelling unit is that it remains subordinate to the primary dwelling. So the limitation on the square footage is mainly to ensure that a second home being put on a parcel or a lot will not turn the site into having two large primary dwellings functioning as a duplex of sorts that might not meet the requirements of the zoning district. So that's really where the square footage requirement comes from. There's also square footage requirements for accessory structures, just so that when you're developing a lot in a parcel that you're meeting the expectation of the zoning district and not kind of turning your site into a commercial development. And each jurisdiction comes up with a different way of regulating how they approach ADUs and other accessory structures. But that's the essential intent of the limitation.
Thank you for that. And what's the square footage of the primary dwelling on this property?
Lilia?
It's a little over 1,400 square feet.
Oh, okay. So this one would be smaller.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry for having to educate me on things, but I appreciate everyone's help.
This is Member Trotter Getzy. Quick question for Lilia. I was reading that you are adding to the main structure. Is that correct?
So before we had submitted, or before we had the need to install the ADU on the property, yes, I had submitted a permit to add for an additional 4 bedrooms to the existing home. Those were to be used by myself and my 3 kids. We put that project on hold, and we focused instead on getting the ADU, which would be for my sister and her 4 kids.
Do you think that you will eventually go with the adding to the main structure?
No, that's on hold indefinitely.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions or comments from the rest of the CPAC members? If
This is Member Trotter Getzy. I'd like to put forward a motion to approve this project, Grandview Road ADU.
Thank you, Member Trotter Getzy.
I'll second it. This is Bill Thompson. I'll second it.
Thank you, Bill.
If there are any no other questions or discussion, I'd like to call for a vote.
Okay. Member Brantley,
Yeah. Yes.
Member Miller, Member Sylvester, Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Trotter Getzy,
Approve.
and Member Borja.
Approved.
And the motion passes to approve.
All right. Thank you so much to the applicants as well as the planner for the county for moving this forward. Sincerely wish you all the best of luck, and hopefully that this goes through, and we appreciate you all following the rules and regulations of the county as you build this ADU. So I hope this home brings you good health and good fortune in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. It really means a lot for our family. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for your time this evening and the approvals.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now that's our only item for this evening. Now we're moving to miscellaneous matters. Are there any staff updates from the county?
No staff updates for you all this evening.
I have a
Okay,
question for
I
the
do.
staff.
Yes,
Please.
go ahead, Member Thompson.
Over here on Bardew, we have a house. We're having 2 major houses on 5 acres. And I'm just wondering how they're getting 2 major houses on 5 acres that never came before our board.
Are you sure that the 2 houses are being built on the same parcel?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we have increased our allowed square footage for an accessory dwelling unit. I don't have that memorized right now, how much they can build without going through an entitlement, but it could be that the second house, either number one, just hasn't come to the Vineyard CPAC yet, or it could be that they just meet the requirements where they don't have to go through a special development permit for a second dwelling.
Well, the front house I'd say is around 2,000, between 1,500 and 2,000 square feet, and the back house looks like it's going to be someplace between 2,000 and 3,000 square foot.
Yeah, that would definitely warrant a special development permit. I don't know the parcel. If you can give me An address?
I gave it to somebody at the county, and I've
Okay.
never heard back from them. And
Okay.
I forgot the address.
Okay. If you've provided it to maybe 311 for the county or some sort of other regulatory
Well, it was
part of the
somebody-
county.
It was somebody that I was talking to the lady earlier, with somebody there earlier about,
Mr. Thompson, this is Alma from the clerk of the board's office. Do you know the name of the street?
excuse me,
The name of the street that it's on?
Bardu.
Or how do you spell it? Oh, B-A-R-D-U.
I don't read or write, ma'am.
I know, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Okay.
I'll try and look it up and find out. I did already send a note to Stephanie about the variance you asked for, so I didn't realize that that was the same project you're talking about right now.
That was that's one of my main questions. I mean, you know, the reason why I know so much about it, the guy had to spend a chunk of money to build the property up for it. And he built it up about 4 feet. He had to build the ground up about 4 foot to build the house, get it out of the floodplain.
I will follow up on Stephanie as well, Mr. Thompson.
Okay.
Thank you.
The spelling of Bardu Lane, ma'am, is B-A-R space D-U and then Lane.
Thank you.
Thank you
I'm
for your
sorry,
question.
I'm not sharper.
No, you're very sharp, Mr. Thompson. I just wanted to put that on the record and make sure that we have your questions addressed. But
I'm
on
sorry.
that note,
Member Borgia, is it B-A-R-D-U?
it's a B as in bar.
Uh-huh.
I mean B as in boy, sorry. A-R, and then no dash, but a space. D-U, Lane, Bardu.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And are there any other questions from the rest of the CPAC members or comments, actually?
This is member Trotter Getzey. Did we lose a member of the CPAC?
Member Trotter, this is Alma from the clerk of the board's office. Yes, Member Johnson resigned from the CPAC.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And we have no further public comments.
Okay, thank you so much. I did have one last question from the staff. Do we know yet if the county has updated their meeting requirements? Do we have to be meeting in person anytime soon, or is that coming up?
Member Borgia, we're working on the on how to reopen for our remote meetings and to keep staff safe, and also the locations. All locations are not the same, and now we need to start providing remote access to the public. So we will be running hybrid meetings from these locations. So, and like I said, not all locations are the same, have the same Wi-Fi and all of those minimum requirements. So we're working on that right now, on a plan.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Just urge my fellow members to just keep a lookout. And I appreciate all of you for making this change. I know we had moved our meeting to this Wednesday, so I appreciate you all for having this quorum. If there are no other public comments, I'd like to move. Oh, go ahead, Member Thompson. Sorry, go ahead.
Do they have any idea how long it's going to be before we're going to be able to meet back at our building?
This is Alma from the clerk of the board's office, Member Thompson. I'm not really sure what the timeline is. Like I said, we're still working on all the minimum requirements that we need to run hybrid meetings from the different locations for all the CPACs. So I don't have a date.
Okay. I would have thought that they would have had this all taken care of before this date came up.
Member Thompson, the announcement from the governor's office was a surprise to most of us.
they've been talking about this on the news for before the first of this last month. I mean, I can't understand how come it's such a big surprise. Excuse me, I'm not trying to be discourteous or nothing, but I mean, it just kind of don't click with all the hubbub there's been about it.
And Mr. Thompson, to respond to your questions, I know that it would be nice to just turn around and be able to everybody to meet in person. However, it took us in a month or a month and a half last year to work on getting these meetings working remotely. So it's going to take us time and staff time to be able to work on a plan that everyone is safe, and then so the locations that we have the needs, meet the needs that we have for our meetings going forward, and to meet the state requirements for meetings going forward, because when we are going to be required, like I said, to run remote meetings from all of these locations. And I'm sorry it's taking so long.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you to the staff for those updates. We certainly would try to be patient and flexible. And I know y'all are working hard on making sure that we follow all the rules and regulations, and we just want to make sure everyone is kept safe and get our things moving again, and help the public as much as we can. So thank you for that. But if there are no other comments from the CPAC members, I'd like to call for an adjournment, if that's okay.
Okay. Are we going to, just before we adjourn, are we going to have a meeting next month?
This is Alma from the Clerk of the Board's office. I don't think we've received any projects for next month, but I don't believe we've reached the cutoff yet, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Thank you for that. And with that, I'd like to adjourn the meeting at 7:07.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Everyone. Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.